Hey, y'all, welcome to Cross Politic on the Fight, Laugh, Feast Network. Pastor Toby Chuck Knox on the Waterboy. It's good to be with you. We have Robert Netzley, CEO of Inspire Investing, coming up. Maybe some sort of ESG for Christians, maybe?
No.
I don't know.
Don't do it. The Fight, Laugh, Feast conference is 2.5 months away.
Oh, we're putting time on it now.
2.5 months.
Wow.
Who's writing these things? Knoxville, Tennessee, October 6th through the 8th. Beer and Psalms. There's like too many exclamation points in this. Fellowship. Our amazing lineup. No, it doesn't really have an exclamation point. Speakers like George Gilder, Dr. Jared Longshore, Pastor Douglas Wilson, Dr. Ben Merkel, Bishop Toby. Who writes this? The family is a nuclear weapon, Sumter.
That's funny.
And Gabe hasn't secured our special surprise yet, so we can't tell you about it.
Will you hurry up and do that?
Put my name on this thing.
It's on you.
This is Gabe's fault. But we can tell you there will be awesome vendors, new friends to meet, and maybe your child's future spouse.
It's possible. I met my wife in Sunday school.
That's from Knox. That's from Knox.
Definitely.
They meet while playing in the jumpy castles.
No.
You better watch those jumpy castles. Save money by signing up for a club membership. FightLaughFeast.com. Another exclamation point. Man, somebody just had
fire.
With the exclamation points. Become a member, sign up, register for the conference, get $100 off. We can't wait to fellowship with you, sing psalms with you, and celebrate God's goodness with you in Knoxville, October 6th through the 8th, where we're going to fight, laugh, and feast.
You know, next time I think we should write it with all question marks. Just to see how you
notice, like, I'm only OCD about a few things.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
And this is one of them.
One of them is punctuation marks.
When we're writing inside of our document, it's funny to watch you like trace me, like, falling right behind me. I love it. I'm like, I need to make this program.
My mom, God love her. She's such a great mom. And man, like me and like a Becca English.
Yeah.
She just like banged it over the head until I was like kind of just sort of like, you know.
Yeah, you had PTSD.
Like, that's a run-on sentence. That's a fragment. Stop it. I'm sorry, Mom.
Oh, that's hilarious.
That's funny.
Okay.
Anyway,
thank you, Mom.
So in June, there was a unfortunate news report on a 10-year-old girl who was raped and then went to Indiana, went across state lines, and procured an abortion. Her mom scheduled the abortion.
Our president used that story to talk about pro-choice.
That's right.
Paid an assassin.
And then it kind of started to get buried. It kind of went out of the news and media, and later found out that an illegal immigrant had raped the 10-year-old.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. And then the story's still catching legs. So you're kind of wondering, well, why are you guys
catching legs?
Yeah, you like that?
On Cross Politic.
I do.
Only.
Catch it.
Catching legs.
And so you're kind of wondering, well, why are we talking about this still in July? Well, because actually, Catherine Glenn Foster of American United for Life was testifying at Congress about abortion and pro-life and everything, and then ended up on the View. But here's Catherine Glenn Foster talking, representing in front of Congress.
Do you think a 10-year-old should choose to carry a baby?
I believe it would probably impact her life, and so therefore it would fall under any exception and would not be an abortion.
Wait, it would not be an abortion if a 10-year-old with her parents made the decision not to have a baby that was the result of a rape?
It's a good follow-up.
If a 10-year-old became pregnant as a result of rape and it was threatening her life, then that's not an abortion. So it would not fall under any abortion restriction in our nation.
So Catherine is pro-life.
Yeah.
Right.
And it's confusing to us. We actually had to watch this video twice because, like, what did she really say what she said? And yes, she did.
I'm with the other guy. I'm with the guy.
I'm with
Wait,
Eric.
wait.
Eric, the guy who slept with the Chinese spy, Eric.
I'm not with him.
Okay. Well,
I'm not with him on that, but
I'm feeling the tone of voice and the expression on his face.
he's like, are you asking? Yeah. So she said that this 10-year-old, that it's going to impact her life. This pregnancy is going to impact her life, broadly speaking.
Right.
And therefore, it falls under the
Life of the mother.
Threatening the life of the mother, broadly speaking, and that she should be allowed to have
But
an abortion.
no, I don't
but she
know.
said, I wouldn't call it an abortion either.
Right.
Well, I think what she's trying to say, if I've given her the benefit of the doubt on this, is that she's trying to say, okay, listen, she believes that the child, the 10-year-old, as unfortunate as it is, should be able to have the child. If there's a case in which that it threatens her life, then
That's not what she's saying.
I think I'm.
I hope that's what she really believes.
I'm giving
but to me, it comes off that she's saying it broadly.
Look,
No,
I'm just going back to like the way English language works and that part about how my mom
period and the comma
taught me
and the-
about how words have meaning and coherence.
I'm going to believe somebody like Catherine is a pro-life person who is trying to speak well in front of Congress and stumbled over herself
I hope
and
so.
didn't make the right.
I sure hope so.
And even then, I would like to tell that I wouldn't have argued it that way.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. I wouldn't have argued.
How would
that
you
way.
argue it,
I
Knox?
think I would argue and say, listen, I am totally for protecting young girls. As a matter of fact, the first thing that I want to do is before we get to the 10-year-old girl who got raped, I want to deal with the crime first of all.
That's right.
If we have a young
That's
girl
right.
who's been raped, there's a crime here, and I want to know who raped her.
Right.
Because I want to make sure that she first receives justice, and let's deal with the crime.
Right.
Let's punish this person with the death penalty. And then after we do that, and we can understand we have true justice, let's just work through this real quick. Death penalty, presumed innocent until proven guilty.
Yeah, so he gets a fair trial.
We want to know, did you yell, young lady? Did you ask him not to? Was there any witness? And then he gets a fair trial. And then once we find him guilty, we give him the death penalty.
Right.
Okay, if you can't agree with me on the death penalty, then we're not even talking about justice at all on anything else.
I want to begin, if you have the time and the space to ask those questions, I think those are very important because we're talking about justice, what's right and wrong, and that's the first thing that needs to happen when there's been a crime.
Right.
But
and the guy has been charged.
Okay, but I think also the immediate comeback also is we do not believe in punishing the baby for the sins, the crimes of the father.
Right. That's right.
So there's been and you don't make it better. That's the other thing.
Yeah.
We were talking with Dr. Story last week about the effects of abortion. As horrible as it is that a 10-year-old girl would be the victim of that kind of crime, and as difficult and as painful and hard as it would be for her to carry a baby, it's even worse to add on top of all of that the guilt and shame of becoming the accomplice of a murder.
That's right.
Yeah.
Like you want to add that to the list of difficulties.
That's
now,
heavy.
Now she's gonna
For a 10-year-old.
She's gonna carry for the rest of
Wow.
her life. I was a mom. I had a
murdered my
baby,
child.
and we killed the baby.
Also, too, I don't want to let him get away with the moral high ground, especially if he's sleeping with Chinese spies.
Yeah,
So,
Eric. Yeah, no, 100%.
I don't want to
100%.
give him any moral
Yeah.
high ground because the first thing they're trying to say is, you trying to say that a 10-year-old child should have a baby?
That's right.
And I'm trying to say, first of all, you don't have any moral high ground, Swallow, if you want to kill this 10-year-old child earlier in the womb. 10 years ago, you wouldn't have a problem killing her.
That's
So
right.
you don't get to make any
That's
of these
true.
decisions.
That is true.
So,
That's true.
there's no moral high ground for these guys.
So here's what the orange gal on The View
Why are we
had to
watching
say
Orange
about
Gal?
this.
Why are you making us watch The View?
Alyssa Farah.
I just want to
because
I
Orange Gal?
protest.
yeah.
I
look
object.
at she's orange.
Why are we watching The View? I'm sorry. I apologize.
We
on behalf
watch
of
it so
Cross
no
Politics.
one else has to.
But now they have to.
I'm personally pro-life, but the woman in this clip is the worst spokesperson for our beliefs and our movement. It has been Republican Party orthodoxy for decades that we believed in exceptions for rape, incest, and the life of the mother. And now we're seeing that flipped on its head, and people are going back against this. I don't know how anyone, to me, it's unconscionable that someone would think a 10-year-old rape victim should have to carry the baby to term and not have that decision. So that to me is stunning. And what I worry about in this very important moment in our country as we decide how we move forward after this Roe decision, I worry that the extremes of both sides are governing the debate. The vast majority of the country supports some limitations on abortion. 15 weeks models most of where Europe is, most European countries. That's a compromise that I think tens of millions of Americans could get behind. But the bill Democrats introduced to codify Roe into law supported it up until viability for a baby. So for someone like me, that's equally distressing. I think people of good faith on both sides need to be able to come together and say, what is the middle ground we can reach on?
Hey, how about we do six months of I don't know, slavery? Everybody likes 18 months of slavery. Everybody likes that. Let's compromise. We can all come together behind
6 months
something
on,
like that.
6 months off.
But this is our pro-life. Okay.
That's kind of what she said. Who's Orange Lady? Who is that lady?
That's Alyssa Farah. She's
Yeah.
one of the hosts of the.
She's sitting in right
She
now.
replaced, or no.
Is she? Oh, did she replace?
I don't know. Actually,
I don't watch The View
actually, I
religiously
don't
to know.
She replaced.
We
Why
just
are
turned
we
it on
watching
and
this?
she
She
was
might be
there.
stepping in. But anyways, Orange
Lady?
Gal.
Orange Lady.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. That's not help. Like, I mean, I appreciate the fact that she said that the other lady, whatever her name was, testifying before Congress, didn't speak very clearly. Not a very good representative. She's totally wrong. I mean, I don't know what the Republican platform has actually said on
Well, the thing about
exceptions for rape, incest, and life of the mother. But again, we want to underline the fact that even if that's been on the record, I mean, it's never right. It's never right to execute the baby for the crimes of the father.
That's right.
Right? What
Yeah.
in what universe do you think that taking another life is going to fix
Is gonna make right.
the first
Yeah.
crime? That
Right.
never works.
Right.
And in the very, very rare situations, the very, very rare situations where a baby is implanted in a place other than the womb,
Yeah.
Ectopic
where it
pregnancy.
cannot survive and
Yeah.
where it does directly threaten the life of the mother, the removal of that fertilized egg
Right.
is not the same thing as killing it,
Intentional.
intentionally murdering
Yeah.
it.
That's
They got to know what life
that
is.
distinction has to be made.
So Whoopi.
No, go to 4.
You want to go? You want
Yeah,
to go?
because we don't have enough time.
Well, because I wanted some Whoopi wisdom.
We'll save Whoopi for the backstage.
I don't
Okay.
got
All right. Save
time
Whoopi.
for
All right.
Whoopi.
Go to Orange Girl number 4.
And just really quick, to be pro-life needs to mean supporting moms throughout their lives. It means paid parental leave. It means investing in foster and adoption care. It's not just, it frustrates me so
Universal
much.
pre-K.
It frustrates me so much that my party really cares about them having the baby, but then there's no benefit
we
that
had
they're
a
going
whole
to have after the
conversation
fact.
yesterday.
This is insane. So this is.
In order to be pro-life, you have to be a socialist.
But that's exactly right. And I think that we need to
Stop it.
We need to remember, though, that when we're talking about pro-life, I think everybody's forgotten the definition. What we're arguing for is due process. We're saying that you can't deprive somebody of life, liberty, or land without a due process. Anybody that's a human being, including the human being that
Inside
is
the mother womb.
conceived in the mother's womb.
that's right.
So until you are exercised, so due process is a negative law, right?
Right.
It's so you can't do
Can't
this
touch it.
unless you can prove that there is a crime that this person has committed.
Right. Right.
So it doesn't mean that because I'm for due process, then I have to be a socialist on top of it.
Right.
Well, I was talking to Neil about this, and he brought up a very good point. He said, no shoes, no shirt, no service. Well, are you going to provide the shoes?
Yeah.
Are you going to provide the shirt?
Yeah.
Well, then, if you're not going to provide those things, then you can't tell me not to put on it. And that's the problem. It is very, when we're talking about pro-life, they are using this to get underneath and flip it
I
to
just want to
social
point
programs.
out that Neil is single, ladies. So just so
Yeah,
you know.
I mean, don't you want that kind of
man,
logic?
with that kind of wisdom?
You need that
right?
in your life.
All right. Yeah.
Yes.
No, I'm with you. I'm honored. Yeah. It's absolutely insane to say that then because you require due process to take someone's life, that you then owe them provision for the rest of their life.
That's right. And so they want to
No.
make everything a right. It's not a right.
No.
This is it's not a right to have health care. It's not a right to be able to have paid leave.
That's right.
Because if it is a right, then everyone has to be able to provide such a
Right,
thing.
right.
And we shouldn't have to be able to provide
and
that.
by demanding that, you're also saying that where's that coming from?
Yeah.
Everybody else.
That's right.
Everybody else. Then that means that the state can put a gun to your head and say, pay up, you owe this.
Yeah, that's
but
right.
that's called theft.
Yeah.
That's threatening. It's unjust.
It's like saying, because I want slaves free, therefore I then have to give them $60,000 a year and a whole bunch of property. That's not no. That's not how God's law works.
Right.
It's not how the world works.
And when you put the care of mothers and children under the state, you're asking for them to be abused. That's not their job.
That's
Their job
exactly
is to
right.
punish evildoers. If you really want to be pro-life, let families be families.
That's right.
Let the church be the church. Get out of their way. Let them provide. Let them love. Let them care.
All right.
I think it's sad that Republicans are getting pushed into the socialistic
And we're taking it,
world.
though. We're
And taking
taking
that
it.
bait.
All
Yeah.
Robert Nestle, is he the owner of Nestle Crunch? We don't know. He might be, but we're going to find out next. If he is it a Christian Nestle Crunch? More cross politics.
I don't know what just happened there.
Coming up.
But now,
Christian chocolate.
now I want a Nestle chocolate bar. That's all I know.
They're not even sponsors. More cross politics coming up next.
This is where Dave and I plan this year's company holidays.
Let's go through the list.
Easter,
Too religious.
St. Patrick's Day?
too white. Mother's Day?
Way too cisgendered.
All of your usual holidays have been canceled this year.
But we still have Karl Marx's birthday! Ha
Need a real reason to party? Find a new job at redballoon.work.
Home. It's where you build your legacy, where traditions are started, seeds are planted, meals are shared, and stories are told. We are Chris and Natalie Carpenter, owners of Story Real Estate, and our team of top agents helps people find homes in Moscow, Idaho, and around the country.
Have you thought about a move? Contact us to get connected with a top agent who shares your values and puts your family first. Or reach out to us about our Moscow relocation guide.
Wherever you're looking to go, we can help you find home. Call us at Story Real Estate or visit us at storyrealestate.com and start building your legacy.
Welcome back to Cross Politic on the Fight, Laugh, Feast Network. Boniface Woodworking exists for those who enjoy shopping with integrity, who want to buy handmade wooden furniture, gifts, and heirloom items that will last for generations, from dining tables and church pulpits to cigar humidors and everything in between. Did you say that you had them making us something special?
Yes, I do. Yes, I do.
Quality pieces that you can give your children's children, tie them to their roots, and transcend the basic function of whatever they are. So start voting with your dollars and stop buying cheap crap from people who hate you.
Can we say crap? I guess we can.
Visit bonifacewoodworking.com. That's bonifacewoodworking.com to see our gallery, learn the story, and submit your order for heirloom quality wood items today. Hey, our special guest that's zooming in to join us today is Robert Netzley. Did I say that right, Robert? Netzley?
You got it.
All right.
Yeah,
I thought it was Nestle.
I didn't ask
Nestle.
I didn't ask Gabe, obviously.
Oh, father of chocolate is what I thought.
He's the CEO of Inspire Investing and frequent contributor on Fox, Bloomberg, New York Times, and Cross Politic. And other major media. Robert, thank you for joining us on Cross Politic.
It is my pleasure. Thanks for having me here, guys.
So tell us, what's Inspire Investing and why do you think that's important?
Inspire Investing, we are a faith-based, biblically responsible asset manager investment company. So we help primarily Christians invest the hell out of your money, both literally and figuratively.
Hey!
So a lot of people don't realize.
That's good.
That's
good.
funny.
Keep going.
So yeah, I mean, most people don't realize you've got, things like abortion drug manufacturing companies and pornography selling companies, or companies that are, paying their employees to cross state lines to have abortions, things of that nature in your portfolio. And you're not just supporting those companies, you're actually profiting from those things. And it's something inconvenient truth, I stumbled across, about 10, 11 years ago in my own portfolio as the president of our local pro-life pregnancy center. I realized, I'm actually making money when people get abortions, and that shouldn't be. And in our business, I was recommending all my clients do the same thing. So we started Inspire Investing, so people have an option to invest in companies that are actually making the world a better place, and not working to undermine your deeply held values and your freedom in this country, and all sorts of other things. So that's what we do. We manage about $2 billion under management, and God's been good. So we're thrilled to be here with you guys.
Robert, correct me if I'm wrong. Is your company is it investing in a broad swath of companies from Christian to maybe not necessarily openly Christian, but at least not openly, flying the pride flag or pro-choice and so forth? Or are you only investing in explicitly Christian companies?
Yeah, we invest in public market companies, so publicly traded companies that many of you own already in your mutual funds. So not necessarily Christian businesses.
Got it.
But businesses that are operating with excellence and, like I said, not getting involved in woke politics and all sorts of other heinous activities that they shouldn't be involved in.
Got it.
So Robert, then are you guys doing portfolio cleansing? Is that a way to think of it too? So right now I have a portfolio. When what you just said, I haven't thought about. I'm looking at...
It's like a Levitical cleansing.
Well, when I look at my portfolio, what I'm looking at is like, how well do they do over time? What's the investment over time? I'm not looking, for lack of a better word, at their ESG score or some sort of moral score to them. I'm just looking at how much money I make. So you guys go through my portfolio and say, do you know that this guy right here does this and part of your earnings are from the murder of children? Is that what you guys are doing in the portfolios?
Yeah, that's the discover part of our process. We're just really passionate about getting this word out. And so we put together a website, inspireinvesting.com. You can go there and click on our technology for free. You can type in your ticker symbols of your stock, mutual funds, ETFs, and see the granular details of, in this fund, in your 401k, owns this company that on this date gave this much money to Planned Parenthood or manufactures this abortion drug or, what have you. So all the data is there for you through our technology. And then we have the solutions to then connect, instead of invest in those sort of things, right? Sell that, buy these better investments that do just as well, if not better financially, right? So there's no need to take a mulligan on your performance just to, invest in good things. And that's what we're expert in.
Robert, why not maybe invest in some of these larger companies like Amazon or, Apple, and then use your money to influence them and get rid of their, pro-choice policies or Pride Month celebrations?
Yeah, so we do a lot of shareholder engagement, actually. And with Amazon, we were part of a resolution a couple years ago on viewpoint diversity. We just co-sponsored a viewpoint diversity index business score with Alliance Defending Freedom, and doing a lot of work with them, pushing back on companies. And so our approach is that, we screen out bad actors. We look for the better companies, the most inspiring, biblically aligned, positive companies to invest in. But we engage all along the way. So when a company that we own is kind of going off the rails, we don't just kick them to the curb. We actually reach out and we talk to their investor relations department, and we share the perspective of faith-based investors. And by God's grace, we've seen some real awesome victories and success stories there. And sometimes we don't, and we just need to sell and move on. But we definitely do.
Can you give us an example? I would love to hear a happy story of how you influenced the marketplace for good.
Yeah, a quick one was a few years back. Some colleagues and I, we were involved in a resolution with Chevron and around their donations to Planned Parenthood. And long story short, they were very committed to supporting Planned Parenthood. They're headquartered in the San Francisco Bay Area. Has nothing to do with their core business. I don't even know why, other than their the board's personal ideologies. They're so committed, adamant. But we were able to raise enough ruckus with them and push back hard enough that they ended up ending their support of Planned Parenthood. So that was 6 figures a year that was no longer going to Planned Parenthood and abortion and everything else that they do over there, and instead stayed with shareholders and was paid out as dividends.
Man, that's good.
So I
like that.
That is good. So are you finding, when you said you had options for people, you actually have me thinking about my portfolio right now. And I'm thinking like, man, I don't know this about the people who I'm investing money in and I have been investing money in. But are you seeing that they are, okay, so you got Chevron, which I wouldn't have thought they would listen, but are you seeing that there's kind of two questions, that they are listening to you and willing to make a move? And then are you seeing the exact alternatives or fair enough alternatives on the other side of investing that maybe not only want to move from supporting some of the woke ESG stuff, but moving to supporting more pro-life, free market stuff and say, we're going to invest in that. So it's not just like, we're taking money from one side, but we're actually building a society that creates human flourishing on the other.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and we really are looking for businesses that are doing that with their products and services and already, not necessarily operating as a Christian business, quote unquote, but they're operating with ethics and morals, and they're staying neutral at least in politics and kind of the social issues, and just working on a cure to cancer or whatever the case may be, or delivering clean water solutions to people all over the world. And so we've developed what's called our Inspire Impact Score methodology, which is a rigorous rules-based methodology used by investors all over the world to score their portfolios and find investments that are more aligned with biblical values, which in a lot of ways are just kind of core values that everybody, human suffering is bad. So let's not increase that in the world. So it ranks companies from negative 100 to positive 100. Anything below 0, we exclude from portfolios, and then we look for the highest scoring companies. And so you can see those scores again on your portfolios on aspireinvesting.com and go right there. And again, we have all the tools to help you out there. Knox, if you're looking for something to invest in.
I'm sorry, I made this all about myself.
Can you just wait till after the show before you check your portfolio?
I'm like tempted right now.
Robert, so you mentioned this, the viewpoint diversity score that you created with, I think, folks from ADF.
Yeah.
And I mean, I appreciate it. At the same time, part of me wonders, is there any, are you kind of playing into the game? I mean, sort of the whole ESG thing, and to start with, is kind of this political game, it seems like.
Yeah.
Is that, why do your own version of that? Is that just creating are we just getting into the game with them, playing politics, rather than just saying, look, in good business, you do good work, you tell the truth, you deliver, you make the world a better place.
Yeah.
Why not just go with that simple, free market principles? Why go with a new score? Isn't that liable to be misused in another 10, 20, 30 years or whatever, and now we're back in the same place, or I don't know. I'm just curious.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know how they misuse our particular score because we control those mechanisms and all of that. But the ESG question is interesting, and I'm, I don't know if it's just because I like to stir the pot and kick a hornet's nest every once in a while, but we put ESG in the name of all of our funds. Because we look at environmental, social, and governance issues.
Got it.
Just this year, we added that into the rest of our funds that didn't have it in there already. And it irritates the progressive liberal wokies like to no end because we are obviously not playing for the same team. And but look, when a company and all of these companies out there have these divisions that they have, their job is to listen to people and look at these issues. And so to me, as an investor, it's kind of like the yellow brick road where I get, hey, yeah, I've got an ESG fund. I've got some ideas about environmental issues and what the Bible says about that. I don't think you should have carbon quotas, and all those sort of things.
Right.
Social issues, I've got a lot to say about social issues like abortion and LGBT activism. They're all wrong, and you should stop promoting those things. And as a shareholder, as an ESG fund, I don't want you to do that. And I think you should support other, whatever it is, governance. So, the Bible has a lot to say about those things, and we're using that as our platform. And until they, change regulations, make it illegal, or just physically remove us from the room, we're going to show up to that conversation. And, it's been, again, it's a really interesting place to be and to shine a light. Certainly the ESG movement in general is overwhelmingly occupied by the secular, woke activists using ESG to try to undermine freedom and faith and things that we hold dear.
Right.
So people are very well, well informed to be skeptical of ESG and to be, concerned about what's going on there. But I think there is possibly room for a two-party ESG system. Right, to have two parties in that ESG system. So it's either too far gone and we throw it out and let's just move on and take a different approach, or perhaps we're the last dying hope for that sort of two-party approach, and we're doing our darndest.
Robert, you got some time to hang out with us in the backstage. I have a couple questions because this ESG thing, I just don't like playing on the liberals.
But I got some theological questions too.
I hope you got your Bible out there.
Yes.
Could you give everybody your website? Because I think they need to go there and check out their own portfolio.
InspireInvesting.com. You can find everything that we publish right there, InspireInvesting.com.
Okay.
And that takes you to Viewpoint Diversity Score, which is where you can actually find a bunch of these companies that you've scored. Is that correct?
There's links to the Viewpoint Diversity Index with the ADF. There's also links to our technology where you can check on your mutual funds and all the rest of it. You can talk to our advisors, see our funds. It's all there.
All right. So Robert, I'm gonna give you the question. Don't answer it. We'll do it in the backstage. But I want to ask you, are the days done where we can just invest in a company because of their earnings? Do we have to have all this other stuff enter the conversation as we're making our investment? It used to be so easy back in the day. This company makes money. This company doesn't.
I want to make money.
I want to make money. I go with
Yeah.
that company.
Yeah.
Why can't we do that anymore? Or can we? We'll talk about that in the backstage. And if you're not backstage with us, shame on you. Sign up, become a Fight Laugh Feast Club member. Until tomorrow, if you're single, get married. If you're married, have you some kids. And if you have kids, go baptize them. Till tomorrow, love God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. Love your neighbor as yourself. Go fight, laugh, and feast. This is Cross Politic.
The season of Augustine and the season of Cassiodorus were very different moments in a crucial transformation that occurred in the history of the Western liberal arts. All right, so just stay like this. How am I doing here? So, yeah, you don't like this, huh? What does a Christian education look like when non-Christians are the ones who control the institutions of learning? This is a question that confronted Bishop Augustine of Hippo in North Africa in the 5th century AD. Augustine lived at the twilight of the Roman Empire. He himself had been trained with the best learning that Rome at that time had to offer. He himself actually came through the ranks and taught rhetoric in some of the best schools. And it was then, after he had come of age, that he converted to Christianity But he wanted to continue the project of education, but this time for Christians. And so he had to confront the question, what does a Christian education look like when the unbelievers control the field? When they control the institutions, when the whole apparatus and curriculum of learning emerge from a pagan environment. And so Augustine wondered, what is it that Christians should jettison? What is it that Christians can embrace? What is it that Christians can adopt but in modified form? These are the questions that Augustine confronted when he sought to educate Christians in an environment when unbelievers dominated the field. A century later, we see a man in the south of Italy named Cassiodorus, who faced a very different educational landscape. He had to ask, what did a Christian education look like in an environment where unbelievers had abandoned the project of education altogether? The infrastructure of learning had entirely eroded. If education was to proceed at all, it had to proceed on the foundation of Christianity. The Christians had to be the ones preserving education. What does a Christian education look like when Christians are the ones forming the institutions, when Christians are the ones organizing the curriculum? Well, these two seasons in the history of education, the season of Augustine and the season of Cassiodorus, just 100 years apart, were very different moments in a crucial transformation that occurred in the history of the Western liberal arts. We're going to be studying this story. We're going to be going back to the sources. We're going to go back to Augustine. We're going to go back to Cassiodorus. We're going to ask ourselves which of their predicaments most resembles our own. Which can we learn from Augustine's period? What can we learn from Cassiodorus's period? As we confront these questions, we're going to engage these sources, and we invite you to join us here at New St. Andrews College.